Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we kind of seem like Sony finally figured out the strat of how to go and make more money, as well as also how to go and sell more consoles. Now, we've actually kind of been seeing these trends before, and it kind of seems like it's pretty obvious, it's a pretty easy connection going through, but every single time we've had a chance to go and see major restocks, major good new stock, and as well new consoles being sold, we've seen a pretty big, nice, uprise of everything else in the actual overall console market. Now, we've actually got to touch on this maybe a few months ago back and forth, but this is probably one of the most fundamental things that I wish a lot of these big developers can kind of go and push a little more into, on the fact of the most basic of all basics. The more consoles you sell, the more games people will buy. The more games people will buy, the more money you make. So, there's some very, very intriguing information going on as of right now over here from the game industry biz, and I'm going to talk about all this stuff, talk about the numbers, talk about all the details, and talk about, well, one of the most obvious things out there of how to go make easy money when it comes to the PlayStation or the Xbox. So a lot of stuff to go talk about, so make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well down below, Weeble and Coinbase down below, and all the other good old stuff as well down below, and let's go and dive in the video itself. So, once again, we actually have even more kind of big overall market news, and I always love having a chance to see this. We see this every now and then, where it's like about every month or so, we have new information, we have new game information, we have new stock information, everything else, and let's go and talk about and do a little bit of our deep dive with it. So with this, we have once again more information from the game industry biz, talking about all just the global economy when it comes to games. So basically, starting off with the article, it states that the Nintendo Switch Sports, funny enough, actually hold up the number one. So we're going to be going over the game numbers two, as well as some other intriguing stuff. So basically, for this one, funny enough, the Nintendo Switch Sports is still number one. I have played that a little bit on my Twitch stream, you know, late night hours and doing some bowling and all of that. But funny enough, it just does, I kind of feel like it needs a little bit more content. If you guys have a Switch or have kids or checked out the game itself, leave a comment down below because I want to know. But it does actually seem like the game is cool. It's basically the old school, Wii Sports, where you have, we have bowling, you have tennis, you have badminton, which is kind of a same thing, kind of. But overall, it's kind of a cool concept, but for the $40 and the price points, it does seem a little bit on the rougher side. But when it comes to the UK, on the gamers, on the retail side and store side, it actually has been a very, very quiet week. Same here with the United States. If you guys have been seeing, there just basically has not really been too much on the restocking side. There hasn't been too much in terms of stuff showing up side, and as well even game releases and everything else, even general gaming news on both the Microsoft and Sony side, besides the fact that the Xbox was offline for the entire weekend, there just really wasn't too much going on. So with this, the Nintendo Switch Sports actually did go and hold a number one for a second consecutive week, despite a 32% drop in box sales week on week. It also did kind of comfortably hold off the Lego Star Wars, which actually is still hitting at number two, which once again, that was also a pretty fun game too as well. Both those would be a nice little thumbs up for me to go check on out. Although, this is kind of the bigger thing for the topic of the video. It was another good week for PlayStation 5 stock. It is more in regards to the UK and the Europe, where there actually was a little bit more of a focus, and it's kind of on that same kind of usual kind of theory, which we can maybe talk about a little bit more in depth in another video, but I feel like I did one not that long ago. But it kind of goes to show that a lot of areas, say for America, we had basically nothing happen as of yet, this last week. So that means that usually other locations, Canada, Australia, China, Japan, usually get a lot more stock. We've kind of covered this on the channel before. But the big thing to note is, since there were so many big restocks, especially for the PlayStation 5, that also, once again, brings up the games on the PlayStation 5. It's the most obvious concept, and I'm sure these big, companies know. They just more so have issues with the production, the shipping, the actual sales, all that stuff. I mean, I get that. I understand that. We've been talking about that for years. But as you guys can see, with them actually having a lot more restocks in other regions, that also kind of brings up games such as Horizon Forbidden West, which is, the bread and butter for the PlayStation 5 right now, and is actually once again bouncing back into the top 3 sales after a over 108% sales increase week on week. So, in a typical sense, you kind of would assume that no matter what, consoles go up, more people buying the consoles, they're buying more exclusives, that's just the end all be all. The one bigger thing is that on how high of a number that is and how insane those numbers are. Because with that, a 108% increase is massive week over week. Because don't forget, this is not launch week. The game itself came out quite a while ago, so I think it kind of just goes to show on how many people are probably waiting on these next-gen exclusives, whether it's like a Gran Turismo, or whether it's, waiting for God of War Ragnarok, or even all the other various games tied on in. I think that's the biggest thing, is that a lot of these games are like big sellers, they just don't have the actual consoles to go and buy them. And if you guys are a part of that squad, because we kind of talked about this a little bit on various videos, leave a comment down below. Because I'm kind of curious on, if you guys are still waiting for your PlayStations, which I know quite a few of you guys still are, is this a big thing where you guys are like, well, I'll probably be the second I get my PS5, I'm buying 5 different games, I've gotten gift cards, I've already bought the games, maybe, you already have them in your hand, you're just waiting for the console to play it. Because it does kind of go and show that, it's a big but the more consoles that are sold, the more sales for all the games are pretty up on the top there too as well. And so on top of that, too, we also saw other stuff such as also Sifu. So one new release in the charts is the box launch of the PlayStation exclusive of Sifu, which debuted actually at number 9, where 81% of the sales are on PS5, while the rest are on PS4. Which also, once again, that kind of number is a very intriguing thing to talk about, because it does kind of go to show that if they can, if people have the preference, they would rather go and buy it on the PS5. Or it maybe kind of goes and shows with the Horizon, because don't forget, Horizon was available on the PS4. It's not a PS5 exclusive, same with Sifu. These are not exclusives. But just seeing these massive upticks in numbers as people get the PS5s, it does go to show that it seems like a lot of these people are waiting for their consoles to buy their games. And once again, I think that's okay. I mean, if say, for Horizon, that was a very good game. I did enjoy it. I still never beat it. I probably should at some point. But for that game, it was a good game. It was a good experience. But I probably, if I had to pick, playing on the PS5 myself, I really rather put it on the PS5. If I had to go and play on the PS4, I probably would have waited. I probably would have been okay to spend the extra money and waiting for it, when it first came out. And I'm sure actually just based on these numbers and statistics that a lot of folks are in the same exact boat. Because at the end of the day, you want the nice graphics, you want the cool details, you want the cool animations, you want the loading speeds, especially for an open world game like that. And it kind of just goes to show that the more consoles you go and sell, the more game sales you get. So is it worth it now at this point for Sony to go push into the priority chip? I would say if they could have, they should have. They'd be making more money. That's an extra $70 worth of sales on their revenue that they could be going pushing towards, and maybe using a $10, $15 loss leader for semiconductors to go and get some more sales. And you can actually go and once again see with Sifu too as well. So there's also apparently some decent performance for Switch games too in this last week, in part due to some retail sales activity. So basically Mario Kart Deluxe is actually number 4, after once again, I have no idea how people are still buying it. But at least on the bright side, at least there is a new DLC. So at least there is new maps and people, checking it out. But I actually had a 3% increase. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is actually back at number 5, actually having another 19% sales jump. And also we also had some other guffs too as well, like the JFK UK as well, in the top 10. So I just want to go to the proper numbers over here. Nintendo Switch Sports, which once again, I'm always surprised because it really isn't that much content. But you probably have a lot of kids, a lot of Switch owners. Lego Star Wars still doing pretty good. Horizon, with the numbers we talked about with all the top of the video, is still insane to go and see, and it is pretty much the formula. Sell more consoles, people buy more games. Mario Kart is just perpetually always there. Kirby once again, Pokemon once again, and it's kind of crazy to go and see and just how this is all pretty much the Switch. You have Minecraft, Switch, Pokemon, Switch, Kirby, Switch, Mario Kart, Switch, Lego, you can buy in the Switch, Nintendo Sports, Switch. So at least we do have some other games such as Elden Ring, still worth the buy in my opinion, Sifu, PlayStation, good to see, and as well Horizon coming back in clutch. So very intriguing numbers, and we definitely want to follow more of this information throughout these next few weeks as we do get more stuff coming on in. A little bit of a nice little wholesome thing to kind of go and walk down over here too as well. Stardew Valley, a nice one of the best indie games out there I could recommend, has actually now sold more than 20 million copies worldwide. So basically, we just had a pretty big press site shows that the popular game, which I actually highly recommend, has now actually passed this huge milestone with 20 million copies being sold. Probably one of the best indie games ever made at this point, based on the fact it was made by all one person. And as well, I'm sure a lot of you guys have either played it, heard it, or talked about it. So just to give it a little, a little clap on that one, just for that doing so well. So that's about it for this video, which is very intriguing to go and see the sales numbers for this stuff. I would love to see a little bit more as well for the United States side, which will probably be coming out in the next few weeks or so. Or as well, we do have Sony's press release coming out in the near future for their earnings calls. So we're watching that do as well. So we have some good stuff going on. So if you guys want to give your thoughts and comments down below, as well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well down below, the Weeble and Coinbase down below, everything else all down below, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you guys later on tonight for another video.